Credit card companies are doing everything they can to protect consumers from credit card fraud, theft, and scams. But do you know what they're doing to protect businesses from the same thing? Much, much less. So you as a merchant need to make sure that you're taking the appropriate steps to protect your business from credit card fraud in order to preserve your bottom line.
So you want to make sure, like Neely said, you're taking the appropriate steps, starting with using an EMV chip card reader. EMV is a security standard developed in Europe by Europay, MasterCard, and Visa in the 90s, and now are a global security standard. And most businesses are required to have an EMV chip reader, but not all of them. So for example, gas stations have been able to put off that requirement for their pump card readers for years, even though they're required to have them inside. So if your industry doesn't require it, protect your business from credit card fraud and get one anyway.
Yeah, and you'll also want to use strong customer authentication. Some payment service providers in the US have begun using strong customer authentication, or to save my breath, SCA for short. And with SCA, merchants are required to use 2 of 3 components to verify a credit card purchase. So the customer has to show something you have, like a debit card or phone, something you know, a password or PIN, and something you are, aka your biometrics, like your fingerprint or facial recognition. The SCA standard and the EMV chip card reader protects merchants that accept physical credit cards at a physical location. The one thing it doesn't do is solve the problem of card not present or CNP fraud. Anyone who sells online processes CNP transactions. It's one of the most popular transaction types, which means it's the most vulnerable to credit card fraud.
And now let's talk about solving that problem. Use CVV2 or DCVV2 codes online. And there are a few things that you can do to protect your business during CNP transactions. One of those things is to require CVV2 codes for all online purchases, and that's the 3-digit code on the back of your credit card, which I always love when I'm doing a purchase on my Mac. I can use my little Touch ID code to do the purchase, and I just have to remember that 3-digit code to make the purchase. However, you should never, ever store CVV2 codes. Don't do it. If a criminal gets a hold of those numbers, it blows a lot of the security protection other businesses have taken to avoid credit card fraud in the first place. To help protect those CVV2 codes, Visa has begun generating a dynamic CVV2 called DCVV2, D for dynamic. Whenever a cardholder wants to buy something online, they can request a DCVV2 code through their mobile Visa app and use it like it was the regular security code on their card, which is pretty cool. I like to think of it as like a verification code.
And with most things in life, you'll want to have insurance, but more specifically, cyber security insurance. Your regular business insurance will not protect you if there is a breach of your servers and your customer's personal identifiable information is stolen. If or when that does happen to you, you're required to notify every person whose data was stolen and provide them with 1 free year of credit monitoring services. And your cybersecurity insurance company will pay for everything, even going so far as sending the professionals to handle the process.
Be sure to watch out for chargeback fraud. Chargebacks usually protect customers from merchants who refuse to give refunds on damaged or incomplete orders. And the customer can request a chargeback, and the credit card network will automatically grant a refund. However, most chargebacks are fraudulent, or at least only filed out of convenience, and are one of the biggest types of credit card fraud that your business faces. And depending on your chargeback ratio, the fees could total as much as 300% over the cost of the original price. So a $100 refund could turn into a $400 chargeback. So make sure you know what your chargeback rights are as a merchant. You don't have to just accept every chargeback that comes your way, and you can contest large chargebacks, especially if you think the chargeback is an error or is fraudulent.
And with these damaged items, make sure you require returns on them. One chargeback fraud method is when customers report that a package was damaged or stolen. They request a replacement because they think they'll get away with receiving 2 of the same items since most major merchants will automatically honor that, no questions asked. You can put a stop to damaged item fraud by sending your customers a prepaid return label and asking them to return the damaged item before you ship out a replacement. If the customer doesn't send back the item, you don't have to send out the replacement, and you've just stopped some fraud.
All right, there are a few additional steps that you can take to protect your business from credit card fraud. Set spending limits for new customers, especially if your business has regular repeat customers. A spending limit won't stop fraud, but it will reduce the impact of first-time criminals with a stolen credit card.
Then, look for patterns of returns among past customers. Are there customers who report a lot of lost and damaged items? Do they return a lot of items? Flag their names in your CRM database to identify possible fraudsters. And then watch out for unusual buying patterns like multiple cards being used to ship orders to the same address, or one card ordering products for multiple addresses.
That's right, keep your eye out, and you're going to have to accept credit card payments as part of doing business. But that doesn't mean you have to accept fraud as the cost of doing business. Identity theft, credit card fraud, and chargeback fraud can all be reduced if you take the right steps and work with the right payment service provider. All right, that's a wrap, but your journey doesn't have to end here. We have over 250 videos for you to watch. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. This is The Journey.